Welcome. Thank you for joining me as we prepare together for the Jewish New Year with this soul accounting. I'm Joshua Lesser, and I'm the rabbi at Congregation Beit Chaverim in Atlanta, Georgia. As we continue to reflect on love of community in the world, I want to share with you a midrash or a commentary on the book of Leviticus and on the book of Ruth. This commentary teaches that in the name of Rabbi Joshua, it was taught that the poor person standing before a household that is contributing offers more to the household than the household does to the poor person. In other words, this text is saying is that the recipient of tzedakah is offering something much more valuable than the giver of tzedakah. And so throughout the ages, there are rabbis who have debated whether that fact is really true or not. But I think that debate misses the point. The truth of the matter is, texts like these are one of the most beautiful subversive parts of our tradition. I think that this text is guiding us to think that there are no hierarchies in this way, that both giver and receiver are indeed just that, giver and receiver in the same moment. And that while we're trained to think of these people as hierarchies, one better than the other, one more privileged than the other, that spiritually, they're both in the same position with something to offer and something to receive. And so when I think about how we expand that message to the communities that we engage in and to places in the world, I think we have much to learn. As American Jews, we're often caught in the trap, I think, of being a prosperous people, that we see ourselves as the beneficent givers, and that the rest of the world, the rest of the Jewish world specifically, are the needy recipients. Part of our American identity, when we use words that are outdated like first world, second world, third world, reinforces that sense of hierarchy that doesn't serve us. And even when we're using concepts like the more politically correct developing world and the developed world, to me it doesn't serve the purpose because it sets up in hierarchy. Whereas I believe that there's an opportunity for us to reflect in this new year about what are the ways that we have received from other communities and from other parts of the world. So get your notebook and a pen, and I want you to write down the communities that you've been engaged, quote unquote, as a giver, whether that is of time or money or resources, or it could be parts of the world. And I want you to reflect not in what you've given, but rather what you've received. When I think about that, for me, I think about my time in Minsk, Belarus, which is Atlanta's sister city. I went on a Jewish Federation mission to see the good works of all of the money that our Atlanta community had sent over to Minsk. We had helped build their Jewish community center, supported their progressive synagogue. And so I was going as someone to be an ambassador from our community, to help them celebrate Passover. My role specifically was to help them celebrate as many Passover Seders that I could lead. And so I really went over with this mindset of what I was giving. But my experience was transformative because as much as I brought to give, I actually received far more. To see the excitement of the revival of Jewish spirit and culture inspired me. It reconnected me to my own Jewish aliveness. To be with college students that wanted to sit and study and spend every moment they could with a rabbi was mind-blowing, and I knew that I needed to bring college students from Atlanta to meet these students because of what they would receive from the students in Minsk. And so when I went back, I brought the message of saying that this wasn't a mission where we were giving, but rather this was an exchange. And I believe if you look at the ways of what you've offered, you will see that you have received just as much. Thank you. I'm Joshua Lesser at Congregation Beit Chaverim in Atlanta, Georgia.